All right, get ready to pucker up, because today we're diving deep into something you might not associate with kissing, a virus.
Hmm, intriguing.
Oh yeah, and not just any virus, we're talking about human cytomegalovirus, or HCMV for short,
Most people probably haven't even heard of it.
right? But get this tiny little virus could be the reason why humans evolved to kiss in the first place.
Wow, that's a bold claim.
It is, and it all stems from a scientific article titled Kissing as an Evolutionary Adaptation to Protect Against Human Cytomegalovirus like Teratogenesis.
So we're talking about kissing, but not in the romantic sense we usually think of.
Exactly. We're going beyond the hearts and flowers and diving into the biology and evolution of kissing.
I'm ready to get my geek on.
Me too. So let's start with the basics. Kissing is pretty much a universal human behavior, right?
Yeah, it's practiced in over 90% of human cultures, which is a pretty striking number when you think about it.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Why is swapping saliva such a common thing across so many different societies? There's got to be more to the story than just romance.
There are those classic theories about food sharing and mate assessment.
Right, like mothers pre-chewing food for babies or using kissing to size up a potential partner.
But none of those really explain why humans engage in a behavior that also exposes them to potential infections.
It seems kind of counterintuitive, right? You'd think we'd evolve to avoid sharing germs, not spread them around.
Exactly, and that's where this HCMV theory comes in.
So let's talk about this virus. What is HCMV and why should we care about it?
Well, HCMV is incredibly common. Most people have it, but don't even realize it because it usually lies dormant.
Okay, so it's like a silent hitchhiker in our systems.
Pretty much. But here's the catch. If a woman is infected with HCMV for the first time during pregnancy, it can be very dangerous for the developing fetus.
Oh, wow. So we're talking serious consequences.
Yeah, we're talking potential birth defects, which from an evolutionary perspective is a major red flag.
So this is where the kissing connection comes in.
Right. The theory suggests that kissing might be a way for women to be exposed to their partner's specific strain of HCMV before pregnancy.
Almost like a natural form of immunization.
Exactly. By building up immunity early on, they're protected when it really matters.
So instead of avoiding the virus altogether, we've evolved to use kissing to control when we're exposed to it.
That's the idea. And it fits with the way courtship often progresses, too.
How so?
Well, think about it. It usually starts with a lot of face-to-face contact, maybe some closed-mouth kisses.
Right, those early stages of getting to know someone.
And then as the relationship develops, the kissing becomes more intimate, more open-mouthed.
So we're gradually increasing the chances of HCMV transmission.
Exactly. It's like a built-in system for controlling the timing of exposure, allowing women to build up immunity strategically.
Hold on, are you saying women are subconsciously using kissing to protect future pregnancies?
It's a compelling theory, especially when you consider the limitations of other explanations for why we kiss.
You mean like those food sharing and mate assessment ideas we talked about earlier?
Right. Those theories just don't hold up as well when you consider all the factors involved.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this HCMV hypothesis makes sense, but it still feels kind of mind-blowing.
It is. It really challenges our assumptions about something as familiar as kissing.
And it makes you wonder how much of our behavior is driven by these hidden biological forces that we're not even aware of.
Absolutely. And we're just scratching the surface here. There's so much more to explore.
Yeah, I'm definitely hooked. Let's dive deeper, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right, so we're talking about kissing as this potential evolutionary strategy to deal with HCMV.
Right. Kind of a weird way to think about it.
Totally. But the article doesn't stop there. It goes on to explore some of the social rules around kissing.
Oh, yeah, like those unspoken rules we all kind of follow.
Exactly. And one that really stands out is the taboo against open-mouth kissing between adults and children.
Yeah, like that's a big no-no in pretty much every culture.
For sure. But why? It's not like we avoid all physical contact with kids.
Right, we hug them, we hold them, but kissing on the mouth is where we draw the line.
And it's not just about protecting kids from germs in general, right?
I mean, that's part of it, but this HCMV theory offers a much more specific explanation.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Break it down for me.
So remember, the biggest risk with HCMV is for women who are pregnant or planning to become pregnant.
Right, because if they get infected for the first time during pregnancy, it can harm the fetus.
Exactly. So from an evolutionary perspective, it would make sense to minimize the chances of those women being exposed to new strains of HCMV.
And kids are like little germ factories.
Pretty much. They pick up all sorts of viruses, and they're less likely to have built up immunity to a wide range of strains.
So by discouraging open-mouth kissing between adults and children,
We're essentially protecting those women who are most vulnerable.
Wow, it's like this unspoken social rule that evolved to protect future generations.
It is. It's a fascinating example of how biology and behavior might be intertwined.
And it really makes you think about all the other social norms we have around kissing.
Yeah, like why do we kiss to greet people in some cultures but not others?
Or why do some types of kisses feel more appropriate in certain situations than others?
There's a whole unwritten code of conduct around kissing that we rarely even think about.
But it's clearly influenced by a complex mix of biological, cultural, and social factors.
Absolutely. And this HCMV theory adds another layer of complexity to that mix.
So where does this leave us in a world where HCMV vaccines are being developed?
That's a really interesting question. If we can effectively prevent HCMV infection, would this whole evolutionary pressure around kissing disappear?
Would we still kiss as often? Would it take on new meanings?
It's hard to say for sure how human behavior might change if the biological imperative is gone.
But I have a feeling kissing isn't going anywhere anytime soon.
I agree. It's become so deeply ingrained in our culture and in our personal experiences.
It's a way to express love, affection, intimacy. It's a powerful form of nonverbal communication.
Exactly. Those things go beyond just biology.
So even if the original evolutionary purpose fades away, kissing is likely to stick around because of its social and emotional significance.
Yeah.
Precisely. It's become an integral part of what it means to be human.
This whole discussion has really made me appreciate the complexity of something as seemingly simple as a kiss.
Me too. It's a reminder that there's always more to learn, even about the things we think we understand.
So as we continue to explore the world around us and uncover new scientific knowledge,
It's important to keep asking those big questions about what it all means for us as individuals and as a society.
because understanding those connections between biology, behavior, and culture.
That's what helps us make sense of the human experience.
Well said. I think this deep dive has given us a lot to chew on.
No pun intended, I'm sure.
Oh, definitely intended. But I think we've earned a little humor after tackling such a complex topic.
Agreed. It's been a fascinating journey.
And who knows what other surprises await us as we continue to explore those hidden corners of knowledge.
Exactly. There's always more to discover.
Okay, so we've explored this fascinating theory about kissing and HCMV and how it might have shaped our behaviors and even our relationships. But where do we go from here? I mean, what does this all mean for us today?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? We've uncovered all of this scientific knowledge, but how do we actually apply it to our lives?
So should we be rethinking the way we kiss?
Yeah.
Like, should we be more cautious about swapping saliva now that we know about HCMV?
I don't think we need to start avoiding kissing altogether.
No, of course not.
It's important to remember this is just one theory and there's still a lot we don't know.
Right, more research is always a good thing.
Absolutely. But I do think this HCMV hypothesis gives us a new way to think about kissing and its place in human evolution.
It's like a whole new layer of meaning that we never considered before.
Right. It makes you realize how much we take for granted about our own behavior.
Like, we assume kissing is just natural and normal, but what if it's actually driven by these deep-seated biological forces that we're not even aware of?
It's a pretty mind-blowing concept.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder what other behaviors might have surprising evolutionary origins.
Oh, I'm sure there are tons of them. We just haven't uncovered them yet.
That's what makes these deep dives so exciting.
Totally. There's always something new to discover.
Speaking of discoveries, the article also mentions HCMV vaccines, which are currently in development.
Yeah, if we can effectively prevent HCMV infection, it really throws a wrench into this whole evolutionary theory.
Right, because if the risk of transmission is gone, does that mean kissing becomes less important from an evolutionary standpoint?
It's a fascinating question to consider. Would we still kiss as often? Would it take on new meanings? Or would it gradually fade away?
It's like a science fiction thought experiment. Imagining a world without kissing.
I don't know if I can even picture that. It's so ingrained in our culture and our relationships.
I think you're right. Kissing is more than just a biological act. It's a way to express love, affection, intimacy, comfort.
Exactly. It's a powerful form of communication that goes beyond words.
And those needs are not going to disappear overnight, just because we might solve the HCMV puzzle.
I agree. Even if the original evolutionary purpose becomes less relevant, I think kissing will continue to evolve and adapt.
It's like language. It changes over time, but it never really goes away.
Exactly. And just like language, kissing has a richness and a complexity that transcends any single explanation.
We kiss for so many different reasons: to celebrate, to comfort, to connect, to show appreciation.
And let's not forget the cultural significance of kissing.
Right? It's woven into our stories, our art, our rituals.
It's a symbol that carries different meanings across cultures and throughout history.
So even if the biological motivation behind kissing were to diminish, I think its cultural and emotional significance would ensure its continued place in human society.
I completely agree. It speaks to our fundamental need for connection and our desire to express those connections in tangible ways.
Well, I think this deep dive has given us a lot to think about. It's definitely changed my perspective on something I thought I knew pretty well.
Me too. It's amazing how a single scientific article can spark so many new ideas and questions.
So as we wrap up today, I'd encourage you to reflect on your own relationship with kissing.
Yeah, think about what it means to you, why you do it, and how it makes you feel.
Because ultimately, understanding our own behaviors and motivations, that's what makes these deep dives so rewarding.
And remember, this is just the beginning. There's always more to explore, more to learn, more to question.
So keep those curious minds engaged and never stop searching for those aha moments.
Because those are the moments that truly expand our understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the surprising world of kissing and HCMV.
It's been a pleasure diving deep with you, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Until then, keep exploring.